Story number 38, 12th century AD Kingdom. The year is 1103 AD. The Kuiper Kingdom, which is a fictional kingdom that is multi-continental, as half the kingdom is in Europe and the other half in Africa. The kingdom is around the Mediterranean Sea and is in the areas that are present-day southern Spain, southern Portugal, and northern Morocco. The kingdom was named after Wilhelmus John Lou van Kuiper, who was the founder of the kingdom, and he was also the first king of the Kuiper kingdom as well. He did not pick the name of the kingdom, as it was the other founding fathers of the kingdom who picked that name, as it was the most requested name. The Kuiper kingdom was founded on Tuesday, August 1st, 685 AD. The king and queen positions are both hereditary, since after the king dies, his firstborn son becomes the new king, and then the firstborn son's wife becomes the new queen. If a king did not have any sons, then the husband of the firstborn child would become the new king. The Kuiper kingdom was established as a Christian kingdom, with a vast countryside and safe, cozy villages. The Kuiperians have a diet that is 34% fat, 33% protein, and 33% carbs. And their most common staples are fish, red meat, wheat, rye, chicken, olive oil, dairy, eggs, olives, coconuts, berries, and greens. In the Kuiper kingdom, people become adults at 18 years old. An 18-year-old man named Ezekiel Barron opens up a new cafe called Cafe at Bay, because the cafe is located on a boardwalk in the village of Madden. Madden is a beautiful large village that is on the Kuiperian coast. The village is located in the African portion of the Kuiper kingdom. The cafe is open Mondays through Saturdays from 7 a.m. through 2 p.m. Cafe at Bay is closed on Sundays. Ezekiel Barron goes to bed at 10 p.m. and wakes up at 5 a.m. every morning, because his body requires 7 hours of sleep, and he picks that time to wake up so this way he could spend time with the Lord every morning and then come in to open up the cafe. He opens up the new cafe on Monday, January 19th, 1103 AD, which was just 23 days before he turned 19. The different types of coffee beverages that this cafe serves are latte, cappuccino, mocha, affogato, pan panna, flat white, flat black, a macchiato, and scortado. The flat black is 67% espresso and 33% milk, which is the opposite of what a flat white is. The cafe also serves hot chocolate, green tea, herbal tea, sourdough pancakes, and pastries. The cafe offers just 2 different sizes for their beverages, which are 300 milliliters and 500 milliliters. On Wednesday, February 11th, it was Ezekiel's 19th birthday, and he did a birthday special in the Cafe at Bay, where people could get a free blueberry chocolate truffle if they ordered a beverage. The special was only for that day. The cafe also had Valentine's Day deals going on, which were running their course from February 2nd through 14th, where chocolate-covered strawberries and chocolate strawberry-flavored beverages were 25% off. The cafe was successful. Ezekiel Barron has a younger sister, Josie Barron, who is 17 years old. She also works as a barista in the cafe. Josie Barron graduated from homeschool on December 18th, 1102 AD. In the Kuiper kingdom, parents are required by law to homeschool their children in the year they turn 6. Children graduate from homeschool in the year they turn 17, because that's the last full year before becoming of age. Josie has wanted to be a barista ever since her older brother first planned on opening a cafe. Ever since, Josie's parents taught her how to make the different coffee beverages, tea beverages, and hot chocolate. On Thursday, February 19th, Josie went on breakfast break at 10 a.m., and she enjoyed a sourdough brie blueberry pancake with a 300 milliliter coconut cardamom cappuccino. She had a friendly conversation with a 20-year-old woman named Alice Burton, who is from the European portion of the kingdom, and is in Madden to visit family. Alice was talking about how beautiful the village of Rizako is. Josie then shared about how her 24-year-old brother Thomas Barron moved to that village after getting married. Alice then mentions that Thomas is her pastor. Alice talked about how Thomas preached sound doctrine and has brought the church in a positive direction. Before Thomas Barron became the pastor of Rizako Bible Church, the congregation didn't really have an impact on society, but was mostly into the cocoon of a cozy lifestyle. Then when Thomas Barron became the pastor, he encouraged the congregation to witness to other people, and he preached about how Mark 16:15 tells us that we should witness to other people and do so in the biblical way. On Sunday, February 22nd, Gregory Haig, who is the pastor of Madden Boardwalk Church, preached a sermon about how believing in salvation by grace through faith alone is an essential doctrine. He pointed out that any kind of doctrine that contradicts that fundamental truth is heresy. During the 45-minute sermon, the pastor was exposing how Catholicism is heretical, due to preaching salvation by works, which contradicts salvation by grace through faith alone. On Sunday, April 19th, Alice was relaxing in an empty field after church, enjoying a picnic on her own. Her lips began to quiver as the mean woman named Sandra, who was bullying her, approached. Sandra then began shouting nasty insults at Alice. Alice's heart was pounding as she was nervous as the insults got more intense and more intense. Sandra then destroyed her picnic basket and became more violent. Before you knew it, Alice was sadly being assaulted by Sandra, and fortunately a police officer saw all of the horrific act in a stationary undercover horse-drawn buggy. As Alice screamed for help, she pinned Sandra to the ground until the police officer could arrive. The officer's name is Hank Bennett. After Officer Bennett arrived to the scene, he placed Sandra's hands behind her back and tied a rope on her hands. It was at this moment when Sandra was being arrested for assault. Then Sandra was placed in a holding cell until the court case was made, which was set for 8 p.m. that same day. Then in the court, Sandra was found guilty of assault, and she was sentenced to 10 years in a dungeon. This was recorded in the newspapers in Rizako. Alice had to spend a week at the Rizako clinic because of the intense injuries she had as a result of being assaulted by the bully. On Saturday, June 6th, it was Josie's 18th birthday, and she had a wonderful birthday party on the beach. She got a day off work that day since it was her birthday. And the special one at that. In the morning, she enjoyed her favorite beverage, which is the strawberry mocha. She enjoyed her favorite beach activities like playing in the sands collecting seashells and swimming. For her birthday dinner, she enjoyed a steak topped with olives, cheese, and olive oil, with a side of salted sardines. Ezekiel did plenty of witnessing on the beach, and so did his little sister Josie. 5 years later, in 1108 AD, King Benjamin Kuiper proposed for a meeting in the Kuiper Castle. On Tuesday, February 18th, King Benjamin had the meeting with the dukes. Then, after the meeting, King Benjamin passed a new decree to allow women to be business owners. Before this decree was passed, women were not allowed to own a business in the Kuiper Kingdom. This was groundbreaking news for the kingdom. Benjamin passed this decree. In Rizako, Alice opened up a butcher shop on Monday, March 16th. She was selling many different types of meats and seafood in the butcher shop. This was the first butcher shop to open up in Rizako. As before that one opened up, the nearest butcher shop was in the village of Darmoni, which is just 3 kilometers away. Later that month, Thomas Barron and Gregory Bennett were both invited to a ministry conference that was going to be from March 26th through 28th. It was set to take place at Jarmony Church in Jarmony. Both men left for the conference on the evening of Wednesday, March 25th, and they stayed in a cozy hotel in Jarmony, just after arriving to that village. The conference was set to begin on Thursday at 5 p.m. On the first day of the conference, Pastor Thomas Barron mentioned about how keeping scripture in context is important. Then Gregory Bennett used some good analogies to prove how using eisegesis of scripture is never okay, as such a practice in some cases can lead to heresies. Thomas Barron brought up some tips on how to exegete scripture and keep scripture in context. The conference had 240 people in attendance. Ezekiel and Josie were both in attendance there as well. They enjoyed seeing their pastor present rock-hard theology. Then, on the following morning at 9 a.m., the conference prayer breakfast was taking place. The food served in the prayer breakfast was wonderful. Ezekiel enjoyed sardine buttery toast with a fig on the side. Josie enjoyed steak and eggs topped with avocado and feta cheese. Gregory enjoyed brie fig creme sourdough pancakes topped with bacon and honey. The prayer breakfast lasted around an hour. After the prayer breakfast, people went out to explore the village and even witness to the people who live in the village. The message delivered on Friday night had to do with discernment, and the message delivered on Saturday afternoon had to do with biblical wisdom.